Hello, and welcome to the 80/40 Factor, where deeper conversations bridge generations. I am Nyna Gilpin, social media strategist and entrepreneur, and I am joined by my beautiful and glamorous co host, the
If
Diane
only.
Gilman.
Thank you.
Now, Diane and I are 40 years apart in age, but we have a lot in common. And one of those is we both moved to New York to pursue our dreams in fashion. New York has a way of, well, you either figure out what your way is going to be or you get out.
You have to.
Because
Yeah,
there's
you will
no
have to.
just staying stagnant in New York by any means.
It's
But
true.
how has your view of New York changed over the years?
Well, I think the first thing is I don't think New York has gotten better. I think we need a reboot. And I think also it's maybe, and it's my age, gotten a little bit harsher. Even though people love retiring here, it's incredibly expensive. Now, New York is actually the wealthiest city on the planet. Every 12 people are millionaires or billionaires.
I'm not one of those. I'm
So
the other 11.
you've got an attitude in New York
Mhm.
that is all about extreme wealth, but you've always got politicians talking about the other side of that. And I keep thinking, hey, what about me? I need a little uplifting. I need a little help. And the other thing, too, is you go to a restaurant in New York or a bar or a brunch, or I don't care what it is. I'm the only white haired woman there. Where is everybody else? You all say you want to retire here. It's a great city, it's totally walkable. And yet, that whole population of aging New Yorkers, they're here, but they're invisible. So, in a way, I feel like, where's my place in all of this? And then again, my era, my golden era, was all about shopping all the time. Bergdorf, Saks, I just loved it, Madison Avenue. But no, we don't shop that way anymore. So a huge part of my downtime is no longer as familiar and amusing as it used to be.
Mhm.
And so I'm sort of like, you kind of have to reinvent yourself for where the city is at now. And quite frankly, most of the people that are out on the streets are not New Yorkers, they're tourists.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I say that with a certain amount of sarcasm, and I'm sorry about that. But it's interesting that when New York was built and formed, it was a walking city and it was a shopping city.
Mhm.
But now that shopping is really internet, and I do 99%, really 99.9% of my shopping off the internet, fashion, everything, food. You wonder, there's all these vacant storefronts.
Mhm.
What are they going to do with them? So I think that what I see is I'm in transition, and New York City itself is in transition too and doesn't know who it is or so much where it's going.
I feel like for some reason this year, a lot of things have picked up. I've definitely been seeing more traffic than
I
I've
agree
ever
with
seen
that.
before.
Yeah.
Even just in Central Park. And I was in Central Park just the other day and it was really busy. I was shocked. I hadn't seen it like that since before COVID for sure.
Yeah.
So I feel like some of the life is coming back and I feel like people are a little more excited to get out right now.
Could be.
All right, so I'm going to have just a couple of exciting questions about
Exciting.
favorites in New York. What is your favorite New York City meal?
It isn't about a favorite New York City meal. It's about the fact that New York City is honestly foodie heaven.
Hmm.
That this city is so loaded with fantastic cuisine. that if you love food, if you appreciate food, and you've got a craving, there's nothing too exotic that can't be satisfied. I
Hmm.
love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. There's just so many options. It's endless. There used to be Seamless used to have this billboard, and it used to say, I can't remember what the statistics were, but it used to say if you wanted to eat at every single restaurant in New York, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, for the until you've tried every restaurant, it would take like, I don't know, it was like 10,000 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because you just have endless options. There's no cuisine you can't get. There's no meal you can't find. I love it. But my favorite is definitely going to Chinatown.
You know, I've had some great meals in Chinatown, but frankly, Chinatown is not, it's a bunch of $1 million condos now.
Well,
And
yeah,
if
but
you really want great Chinese cuisine, you have to go to Queens.
no, I like the dim sum, that original. I can't remember what it's called right now, but that original dim sum place that's down there that's been open forever.
Some of the original places stayed there forever. I love going for brunch, and I don't remember the name of it, but it's 4 stories.
Hmm.
It's literally a whole building, and you can get my very favorite Peking duck. Love that. But see, we're talking about it, and I could talk about my best sushi meal, which has
Mm,
actually been on the Upper East Side opposite the Carlisle Hotel. And I think the other interesting thing about food in New York is whether you're rich or you're poor, there are high-end restaurants and there are fantastic low-end
yes.
economical restaurants too. This is definitely a city for, and everybody is dieting, which is so against being a foodie, but it is for sure a city.
All right. So, next question.
Yeah.
What is your favorite New York City memory ever?
Oh my God.
I know. You can only pick one.
I can't pick one. There haven't been, I think my biggest memories have to be, surprise, surprise, linked into my career and
Mm,
the fact that I will always remember being in Bloomingdale's on an afternoon, watching them, workmen, up on a ladder, putting up the name Diane Gilman Collection on
mm.
the wall. That was everything to me. I mean, I have a million memories of going to a great restaurant or going to a great Broadway play, but I think that was such an enduring memory of, you know, when there are just those moments in your life when a dream is fulfilled.
Yeah.
That was it. So many dreams were linked into New York City, the
Hmm.
power of New York, the energy of New York, the significance of not being anonymous anymore in New York. That would have to be it.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's not nearly as amazing, or mine is much less amazing, I should say. But my favorite memory ever was when I was still broke. Me and my best friend, we had just moved here. Um, we really wanted to go to this concert. The new Yankee Stadium had just opened. And it was going to be the first concert they ever had there. It was Eminem and Jay-Z. We wanted to go so bad. And I spent literally every last dollar that I had
Oh my
to go to
God.
this concert. And it was the best night ever. It was
Seriously?
like everybody showed up. Beyonce showed up, like Lil Wayne. It was, everyone was there. It was crazy. It was the craziest night. I lost my voice. I was still doing my internship for school, actually. So the next day I went to my internship. And when I left and I was going home, I swiped my Metro card and I didn't have any money. And I had no money left in my
Oh
bank
my
account.
God.
So I called my best friend. I'm like, I'm going to be late coming home because I'm going to have to walk home. And I worked on 34th Street in the Empire State Building, actually, my internship.
Wow.
And I lived on 84th Street. So I was like, I'm going to have to walk. So she ended up meeting me and swiping me in with her card, luckily. But I think that moment was when I said, and it's all worth it. Like, I would have done it all over again. I wouldn't have changed a second of
And
it.
and I will tell you what one of my worst memories was the blackout of, I think it was 1977,
Hmm.
78. And I was in an underground theater in the East Village, and we were seeing something like the original Dracula, I don't know what, but it was really underground. It was like a cave. and suddenly everything went out and it was totally black. And lots of people smoked at the time, and they took out their lighters and sort of lit it up. And then people that were running the theater came down with flashlights, walked everybody out. And you were suddenly, I think I was on 8th Street and 2nd Avenue or 3rd Avenue, and you suddenly realized you were in total chaos. No street lights, no stop and go lights. So cars are like everywhere. You can't even get across the street. Nobody is stopping for you. There's no rules anymore. No longer what you thought New York was, contained chaos. It's just chaos.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I can't even imagine.
That was wild.
I met a woman on a bus one day, and she told me she does not ride the subway anymore ever since that blackout, because she was on the subway when it happened.
Yep.
And she said, I refuse. And ever since then, she has always ridden on a bus.
Guess what? I never went into a subway after that.
Really?
I wasn't in the subway, but I heard stories from people that were employees or I was working with. Wasn't ever going to happen. So it was interesting seeing a moment in time of New York, and all that energy in New York was always sort of contained by rules, and suddenly all those rules were gone.
Terrifying.
And that was really, really
Terrifying.
wild. Yeah, really wild.
Okay, next question. If you could no longer live in Manhattan, what borough would you live in?
Yeah, I'm not sure I would live in America. I might go to Paris.
Said forget the boroughs.
I might just decide to be away from it and live out the rest of my years in another city that I love, Paris, but that is a little bit softer, but that I'm very familiar with because I worked there on and off for 40 years, and do it that way.
If you could do that so I could just come visit, I would really appreciate
Oh,
that.
okay. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Foremost on my mind. Your comfort.
All right. And my last question is, if you were to describe to someone who has never lived in New York, what the feeling is that you have about New York. What is it that New York does for you? What do you feel when you're here? Because I think that people who have never lived here, but also never visited, they can't really understand what it feels like to be here. So how would you describe that to somebody?
It's plugging yourself into a giant energy source. It's very electric, right?
Yeah.
And to be a true New Yorker, and somebody I was doing a podcast with said that to me the other day. They said, you would never be mistaken for anybody but a New Yorker. You're so to the point, so matter of fact. So using the time we've got together on this podcast in a way that's very direct. I go down Fifth Avenue in a car, and I've seen it once. I've seen it probably 50 times already. The corner of Fifth Avenue and 57th Street is the old Louis Vuitton building that they're refurbishing, and they were so clever, and they made it into a series of stacked Louis Vuitton bags that go high into the sky. I loved it the first time I saw it. I loved it the second time I saw it. And now I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. Or there it isn't, because that's New Yorkers. We're not so impressed with anything, but we like it. Good idea. We're shocked, but only for a limited amount of time. Because after all, you're in New York. You've got stuff to do, places to be, and people to meet. I mean, that is, New York doesn't wait for anybody. And the pace never slows down. So what I always hear from people that come into town and they're tourists is it always this way? Yeah, it's what makes it what it is. It is an energy giver and an energy conductor. And We said it before through this entire discussion. You either love it and you can plug yourself in and get a lot from it, or it is going to burn you up alive. And I have seen that happen so many times. And most of the times, I could have told that person 1 week into their stay, this isn't sustainable for you, but you can't. Got to figure it out for themselves.
Yeah, completely. I definitely feel it's so interesting. I was telling someone you can be surrounded by tens of thousands of people, but you can also feel so alone.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's like you really have to make your way. There is no just like floating by. There's no like, oh, it'll come or what, like you have to put your foot down and have intention with everything you do in New York.
Yeah,
It's really
even,
crazy.
changing professions at almost 80 years old, leaving everything I knew behind at 78, smart or not smart. I think I did that also as a infrastructure of self-survival.
Mhm.
Because in New York, if you do not keep expanding yourself, reinventing yourself, learning,
Mhm.
you're you're just you're going to get just overwhelmed
Yeah.
by the fact that everything around you is swirling and moving and you're not. This is not a city for that
Mhm.
at all.
Yep. So I guess what they say is true. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
Frank Sinatra, I miss you.
So, in
New York, New
closing,
York.
the best. It's literally the best city in the world.
And that's the other thing. We have such a conceit about it.
Oh, for sure.
So, New York City is definitely a place you come to with hopes and dreams. You don't just wander in here. And we've shared ours with you, but we'd love to hear your New York City story, your New York City ambitions, hopes, dreams. You know what? New York, New York.